Angelica Toy reporting for Rebel News. I am here outside of Mission 7 Ministries, where Pastor Derek Reimer has been a target of ongoing prosecution by the Calgary Police and the Calgary courts. Mission 7 is a Calgary street ministry where they provide the homeless with clothing and food and the gospel if they want to hear it. Mission 7 works in downtown Calgary on the streets because that's where the homeless are, and it's also where the homeless know they can find Pastor Derek Reimer. For those of you who are regular viewers of Rebel News, you already know Derek. He was client number 2 of our Fight the Fines project, right behind Pastor Artur Pulowski. He was given multiple lockdown tickets for feeding the homeless in contravention of the COVID gathering orders. But luckily, thanks to your generous donations to Fight the Fines, we were able to get an excellent lawyer named Sarah Miller to help get those tickets tossed out of the court so that Derek could do what he does best, ministering and taking care of Calgary's downtrodden. Pastor Derek's accused of feeding the homeless without a permit, holding his ministry without a permit. Imagine a city official telling you that you need to get permission before you give a homeless person a sandwich or tell them that God loves them. And all of this at the same time the city shuts down itself for Black Lives Matter protests. They want a pastor to get state permission before he feeds the homeless where he knows the homeless are. If you've taken the C train lately, you know in downtown Calgary that people need the help, not bureaucratic nonsense standing in the way of getting help to them. Pastor Derek has already moved to set up where everybody knows it's always been, to just around the corner on 2nd Street. He wants to be where the homeless know they can find him, so he can't move that far. But it's not good enough. He's trying to work with the cops, but they won't tell him exactly where he needs to be to follow the rules. And in the middle of this whole mess are the homeless who need Derek's help. The helpless pawns in the city's never-ending vendetta against a man who stood up to them during COVID. We have seen a steady trend of pastors being heckled by the Calgary Police for doing their God-assigned duty of feeding and taking care of the less fortunate. Now they have decided to pick on Pastor Derek Reimer by passing him multiple fines and causing disruption to his services. In recent events, Pastor Derek Reimer was arrested at the Rec Room in Calgary where an anti-drag protest was taking place. He joins me today to give you an update on his arrest and also what's next for Mission 7.
That's how they treat people here in Canada. When they preach the gospel against this wickedness, against this abomination, this drag, we show all ages that's affecting the children, corrupting the children. Look at the little box they put me in. It's not outrageous. Canadians, stand up.
You were arrested a few weeks ago at an anti-drag protest. What was the reasoning the police had behind their move?
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. It was an all-age drag protest at the Rec Room a couple weeks ago, and I was just simply preaching about 30 feet in front of the Rec Room, and there was little children in the window, and there was families walking in, and that's who I wanted to preach to, because the counter-protesters were about 200 feet behind us, and the other protesters, the freedom fighters and Christians, were there. But my heart was to preach to these families and these kids, and it was about 30 seconds into preaching, and the cops apprehended me, they arrested me, they dragged me away, and they put me into a van. And fortunately, they only locked me in there for about 20 or 25 minutes and then released me, and then I went to protest, the rest of the afternoon.
Did they charge you with anything?
Originally, they said with trespassing, but they didn't continue on with those charges, which I'm thankful for. Although there was a freedom fighter, Anna, that got charged with trespassing after that protest, and she spent the night in the APU and now has court on the same day that I have court for operating without a permit here at Mission 7.
Do you see yourself as an isolated target by CPS, considering everything that's happened at Mission 7 and being detained at this protest?
It starts to look like that because I know a lot of these cops. These cops have known me. I've been out here for many years. And just like Pastor Art, is it just a coincidence that he's always getting hit with everything? I don't think so, right? And, I'm doing very similar work as he is. And I think it's no coincidence that I'm getting hit, it's seeming like week after week now as cops are saying that they're going to give me an accumulation of tickets and fines at the end of every month, that they're going to hit me and hammer me every outreach that we do, but we're going to continue doing this and moving on.
In regards to your outreach program, what are the police saying? Why are they attempting to move you, and why are you getting all these tickets?
Yeah, well, they're claiming that we're on Stephen Avenue. And so I said, okay, well, show me the boundaries. And they can't prove that. My lawyer says that they don't even know what these boundaries laws are. And we actually had moved over because there was a violent attack, not today, but another day. And it's never enough. They totally just want to eradicate Mission 7. They don't want us here. That's clear. They don't want preaching. They don't want music down here. And they're coming at us with everything that they have to make sure that we're not here. But we will continue. I just want to encourage everybody with a God-given calling that you got to follow those convictions. I was just preaching right now and even last Wednesday how the apostles in Acts, they came, the Sadducees and the leaders of the time, the Pharisees, with these threats and imprisonments and beating them, but they don't stop their calling. And that's why we can't stop our calling. No matter what they come at us with, we got to stand our ground. We got to push back the wickedness, the darkness, these drag queen shows. We're going to preach to these people walking by. We're going to preach to these people that come here to be fed, and we have to continue on. We have to be strong Christians and show the world that we're set apart.
If you'd like to support Derek Reimer and Mission 7 and all their fines that have been piling up on them, please visit fightthefines.com and make a donation. Thank you for joining me today. Stay strong and stay free. For Rebel News, I'm Angelica Toy. Just like before, in partnership with the Democracy Fund, Sarah Miller is going to help Derek fight these crazy tickets. She's one of the best in the business, and we know her through her work with Pastor Art that she will do everything she can to make sure that Derek can do what he does to help the forgotten people of Calgary without state harassment. If you would like to help, please consider making a tax-deductible donation to fightthefines.com. Let's get the government out of the way so that Derek can help those who need it the most.